Welcome everybody to the Red Cartel podcast. This pod is going to be the Liverpool review. How are you doing, Leon? But before I say how you doing, can I just play you something quickly? Da 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 da. 10 hours at the wheel, at the wheel. 10 hours at the wheel. Boss happy?
He's driving. Yeah, of course I am. He's driving the bus, isn't he? Everyone's on board. He's flipping his cap. He's looking back. Way, come on, Rio and the boys. Let's go, Scholesy.
Yeah.
No. All right. And see you later.
Before we go into it, it was very funny. I think we were both talking about we were watching the game, and and just give some background why we love it. Me and Leon's from Southampton. I went to Southampton Uni. There was a player that played for Southampton called Gregors Raziak, and that was his theme tune, and we always sing that to each other. So it was very, very funny to hear the Liverpool fans adopting that for Ten Hag.
Yeah, it was so good. Loved it. It was like I had to listen in really, really hard. I know we were talking about it, and you were like, "What were they singing?" I could hear the tune. I was like, "Yeah." I was listening. I had to employ my scouse ear to listen in, and then all of a sudden, as soon as I heard it, I was in stitches during the game. It's the only time I've ever watched Man United and been so comfortable that I can laugh. Apart from maybe when we beat them 7-0, maybe when we beat them 5-0. So I'm now realising I'm lying, and it's a lot of times that we actually just sit there and laugh at Man United for a period of the game.
Yeah, it's a good time, mate. It's a good time to be a Liverpool fan playing United, mate. I don't have that as an Arsenal fan. We've beaten them a few times, but always very close, mate. But yeah, boss, it was a good weekend for Liverpool. Nine points out of 9, 3 clean sheets, lots of goals.
Yep.
Second in the table, but only on goals scored against Man City. Yeah, tell us, mate. What were your thoughts? What were your thoughts on the game?
So first, I'll just do a couple of things. First, hello everybody. Welcome.
I always forget that, boss. I always forget that. I introduce you. I never give you a chance. So
oh, it's all good. We had the Gregors Raziak song with 10 Hags at the wheel. That's more than enough. I don't need introductions. In fact, if that can just play every time I enter any room, answer any phone call, send any email, like when you open my email, it goes 10 Hags at the wheel, at the wheel. Oh, that would be... You wouldn't believe how pleased I'd be. But so first, surrounding the game and stuff, before I go into the game details, just really briefly, before those 3 games... I thought 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. And we got 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. What I was not expecting was the manner of the performances. The only time we've been really, I wouldn't say poor, but I'd say slow, is the first half against Ipswich. And that was the first game of the season. And so, but in this game, I would say, first 20 minutes, it was a bit end-to-end more than we would have probably liked, but it's Old Trafford and they're up for it. And then, Casemiro decided to try and get out of his wheelchair twice. And you shouldn't do that. He should just be watching from the stands with his mates, with his old, with Rivaldo and all the other 50-year-old Brazilians that ain't got legs anymore. But it's insane. Carragher said, sometimes the sport retires you. I'm just going to say, just right out of there, out the gate, that you can't have... I said it for weeks. You can't have a midfield like that. And you can't sell Scott McTominay, your best midfielder, and then expect to go into a Liverpool game without buying that Ugarte early enough. And didn't they know they wanted him 5 weeks ago or something?
Yeah, it's the standard United way, mate. Yeah, identify a player and then wait so long and then have to pay a premium because you're buying him last minute.
Yeah, so essentially the game for me was 20 minutes, bit dodgy. I know Trent scored in the first 6 minutes and it was offside because of Salah touching the ball. But aside from that, I was never really worried. I mean, you knew beforehand, and I've seen everybody who's seen my predictions and seen me talking about Man United this season anyway, and particularly De Ligt. And I'm just going to throw it out there: did De Ligt look so good then? I didn't understand. It was all these players. Mazraoui, De Ligt, all the boys are they good? Like, because to me, what they looked was a shambles who've got no idea. They've had a manager for nearly 3 years, and there's still no identity. We've had Slot for about 3.5 minutes, and he's already got some of our players playing differently to how Klopp did, but similarly. There's a different idea, and I just don't understand. Does Ten Hag not say anything then to anyone ever? I don't get it. I have
I
no
don't know.
idea.
When I was watching the game, and I thought of you instantly, Leon, when De Ligt tried to. I think it was Diaz was running down the wing, and De Ligt went in for a tackle, and he was so late, and it felt like he was so slow to react to try and get that ball. He
Yeah,
just clattered in. I thought of you instantly.
he was exactly like you on Pro Evo. He was that
Oh
bus.
yeah,
Bus was late, boss. Do you know what I mean? That was late.
yeah,
Diaz
yeah.
was gone, and I mean, I'm not saying that, especially because of other contentious red cards. I'm not saying it should have been a red card, but he did jump off the floor by about 2 feet, and he only connected with Diaz like just as he hit the floor. That's pretty out of control. How can you be
Was it
England?
checked?
Yeah,
Was it
yeah,
checked by VAR?
yeah. Quickly, of course. Yeah, yeah. They're just don't worry about that. It's
He
fine.
didn't. He didn't delay the start of a restart, so it was clear it wouldn't have been a red.
He didn't. He didn't sort of half on purpose, half accidentally, instinctively touch a ball and move it an inch. Because if he'd done that, that's what it is. He didn't make any contact with the ball. If he touched just a,
Yeah,
I get you. I
that's it,
got you.
mate. That's
Then
it.
he
We've broken the matrix. We know it now.
Yeah. Well, maybe what we actually needed, I'll tell you what I should have done. We should have quickly slipped an Arsenal shirt onto De Ligt, and he probably would have stood up and then thought, well, that's a yellow card. And then he would have just got sent off and not had any explanation whatsoever, except for other people come out and go, letter of the law is, letter of the law is, no one cares about the law. All
No,
right.
it was funny to see. I also enjoyed Martinez trying to play the big man, coming into. I think he foul Slobozai. I can never say that guy's name.
Yes, obviously.
He tried to foul him, trying to be the big man. Just got booked and had to just walk back to his
He
half.
also, did you
So,
see Van Dijk's reaction to that?
I did. Yeah, yeah.
Come
It
and,
was good. That was a nice reaction.
come and kick me then. And like Van Dijk's like this big, and then you've got like Martinez who's like somewhere down there. Like he is a micro man, isn't he? And
Yeah.
keep telling me, well, when I say they, Man United fans and everyone, not just Man United fans, pundits as well, what is it that makes him a good defender? I'm not going to say he's not average, but just a good, like, they're like, he's on the ball, and he's like, and he's, well, what, he tried an overhead kick in our box. Is that it? I don't know. Is he?
I think we've had this conversation before, but boss, it's because he slightly raised the standard of United defenders, but the standard was so low that it didn't take much to raise it. So instantly, you have the very Man United dominated pundits team say he's amazing. He's a bit like Lucas Torreira for Arsenal when he came into defensive midfield, and we had been relying on. I don't know. We've been relying on no one pretty much in defensive midfield, and I thought this geezer's amazing, and then you realise actually he's just this tiny step above what we had.
He's just.
But yeah,
So,
great work from the Man United defence.
so we saying Martinez is sort of like Joe Allen
Yeah, it's like a Joe Allen for you guys.
or Charlie Adam, where you're like, he is amazing, and then you go to like Stoke, and then Shaqiri's playing there, and you're like, they've got a player who's better than him. But let's just keep pretending that he's
Yeah,
amazing. Because
yeah.
we got to. But I will get back to the game. So the game itself, like I said, 20 minutes in, I'd say it was a bit even, but you could tell who had more control patterns of play and who had no patterns of play. Man United don't have any patterns of play. I don't know. So when I talk about patterns of play, and I was talking to another Liverpool fan about this, our mate James. Basically, it's not what the forward players do with the ball. It's how the rest of the team provide the ball to the forwards and in what space of the pitch, what area they're in, to see what patterns of play, because everything forward-wise should be practiced, but off the cuff a bit more, because no situation will ever be the same. And that's what we did over and over again. You could see how we were trying to get the ball to Salah. You could see how we were trying to get the ball to Diaz. And you could see what we were trying to do with Jota, not just false nine dropping off a bit, but going in behind and stretching the defence. I still don't know what... I'm so confused, honestly. I just don't even know. Like, they had Rashford, Garnacho and Xerxes up front. And, like, they did nothing. Like, I know they had those chances, and they were like, and everyone was like, "Oh, they're amazing chances," stuff like that. They were. You're right. But if we'd scored all of ours and they'd scored all of theirs, I think we would have probably won 6 or 7-2. Maybe they would have got a third. Like, and then never.
I think you're giving them a good. You're being polite saying a third. I think they had 2 chances where they probably should have put in the back of the net, but they didn't. So, like, you had the disallowed goal for Arnold. I watched it. So harsh, but yeah, he was offside. And then you have Diaz stepping up. So yeah, talk us through the goal, mate.
Well, first goal obviously was like, mostly I would say the most impressive thing about the first goal was not what Diaz did, it was what Szoboszlai did. Because he obviously heard a shout, and you can see him like going, "I'm going to header the..." Wait a minute, like that at the last minute. And
yeah,
it's been so hard to header the ball like that. Like, he would have seen it so late, although he'd been watching it, and then to do those 2 readjustments of, oh, wait, it might hit him. Oh, wait. Anyway, quality finish, top bins, like, brilliant ball from Salah, like, looking electrifying going forward, very, very clinical. Second goal, I mean, that was an amazing finish from Diaz, the goal, that curled finish. And then the last goal, I can't even, like, we can't take credit. Although Salah put it in the net, Banana has to take all of the credit for that one. Banana just loves his line and also doesn't realise there's another side of the goal.
Yeah, it was like someone was taking a penalty against him, wasn't he? He was like, "I'm going to stand in this side of the goal."
And Salah didn't even put it in the corner. He took it first time and he didn't even hit it hard. He just sort of like went, "Oh, okay, I'll just put it in that bit of the net that you're not near then."
Yeah, it was a pretty, but at the end of it, it was quite a routine win. Couple of questions I've got for you, Leon, and I mentioned it on a previous pod, and I still think it's the case. Diaz, I think if you win the title this season, it's Diaz is going to win that title for you. Obviously, other people are going. Salah's going to contribute like he normally does, but he's going to make that. He's going to make the difference from you last season to you this season. Well, what do you think?
So if I take two points to do with this, one is sort of what he did last season, what we did last season, and if I then transpose that with if he was performing like he is now, we would have been in the title race to the end of the season. We might not have won the league, right? But we would have been in it if he was performing. Because if we just add simply 10 goals onto Luis Diaz last season, that could change 10 games. Now, I know you can't really do it. Football maths don't work like that, right? But essentially 10 more goals would have meant 10 more opportunities to not drop points. And so from that perspective, massively important, like integral actually, that he starts performing like Mane did. And so if I don't think we're going to win the title this season. I mean, we might, but I don't think so. We'll be in the title race. I'm more convinced of that now after 3 games. There's 3 games. Like, it could just be a bit of like new manager bounce stuff, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I can see the ideas, and so he's also massively important because of the way that we're using him this season. His performances. I was talking to you before that his performances are fairly similar, but he's just scoring more. And you rightly said, sort of like that's what makes the difference between success, right? Doing the thing and actually achieving it. So sure. But it's more his carries and the runs that he's making in behind are going to give him more opportunities to do that. And if he's upped his game finishing wise, we're going to be very deadly going forward, I imagine. And yeah, massively important. In fact, strangely, probably more important than any other player, apart from maybe Darwin Núñez. And what I mean by that is Darwin Núñez could have scored a lot more last season. And when I say could, I mean should have. And when I mean should have, I don't know how he didn't, right? So if he doesn't have to produce more to get a really huge return to our team that should have had that last season. Whereas Diaz is like a new thing added on top. So if we get that and it negates the need for Núñez to have to do that, massive. Because then one of our strikers that isn't doing, admittedly, as well as everybody, well, lots of Liverpool fans would have hoped, it gives him a bit of a breathing space as well. And so it would breed, I think Luis Diaz being successful will breed a better environment for all of our other forwards, as well as being important for the goals that he scores. So, yeah, I do think he is going to be hugely important for us to be successful in anything.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think he could be, for me, he's the person that has shown most improvement from last season in your team, like in terms of his output. Maybe not his input. Maybe he's doing the same things and you just don't notice it because he's not scoring the goals or getting the assists. But yeah, output. I'm very impressed with Diaz as a non-Liverpool fan. Very impressed with how he stepped up and what he's doing for the team.
He is doing well, for sure.
So yeah, I mean, the other no real talking points outside of kind of Casemiro, and he got subbed at half time. I mean, question here, Leon, do you think it's time for him to step down to the Saudi league now? Do you think that's it for him and top flight football?
So I don't like ever doing this, even to a Man United or Everton or City player. I don't like piling on exactly. But Carragher said it best when he said, like I said earlier, sometimes the sport retires you. Like, it's the same in like, I watch a lot of combat sports, and fighters don't know they're done because they think they're still up for it, still performing well in the gym, and all the metrics and all the numbers are correct and stuff, but they're not able to translate that to a performance. And I don't even know if I can blame Casemiro exactly, because it might be that if Casemiro came and played for Liverpool, he'd be like Ryan Gravenberch.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I can't. I mean, look, if that was Thomas Partey doing that exact same thing, it was his pass for the first goal was just.
I don't know what that was.
Like it felt like a schoolboy pass. Like you don't really know football, but like I need to get it forward, so I'll just kick it over here. And then for the second goal, he was so weak. Like, fair play to the ref, because in real time I thought, that might have been a foul, but the ref was in a good position. Clearly saw Diaz just nicks the ball off him, and Casemiro falls to the floor. But he was so weak. I mean, I'm happy. Like, I hope he's in the team when Arsenal play.
Yeah,
probably won't be, but I hope he is. But yeah,
I'll tell you one thing that I noticed, which is a trend, and this is why I say that. We did the same thing to Kobbie Mainoo. We did the same thing to, what was his name? Border Collie. They brought on.
Who?
Yeah, him.
Exactly. Oh, the young Man United player.
Yeah, the Border Collie with the big, fluffy, long hair and running around and did nothing.
Yeah.
They brought him on, and all
the Aryan Dream. That guy
got muscled by our midfielders. Muscled. The physicality difference, like between Liverpool and Man United, was astounding. Like, actually astounding. Like, every single one of our players, because usually, especially when we go to Old Trafford, Rashford rinses Trent. He just does. He always does. He does something. It's always... And I'll tell you what, this is an even better way to describe all of it. Before the game, there was like this big dramatic, like, there's always drama in this fixture. There was no drama, except for that Man United were absolute crap. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, there was no drama. Oh, and Ten Hag is deluded that he thinks that, like, he's not. Wait, Ten Hag is the best manager that Man United have ever had. You can click that up. We'll send that message out.
I can't. Every week we have just a clip of Leon saying that Ten Hag's the best manager ever.
So
Sign
he
him up.
won 2 trophies, boss. 2 trophies, mate. And all the Man United fans saying, yeah, but do you know what? Klopp only won like 5 or 6 trophies in his time when he was Liverpool manager, and Ten Hag's won 2. So technically, Ten Hag is a better manager than Klopp. So why would you sack the best manager in your history? It's like since Alex Ferguson. You wouldn't, would you? You'd keep him. And look, Man City and Arsenal and that are coming up. So, like, keep him for them games. Get rid of him at Christmas if you're going to do it, when you're in the relegation zone, when you've got 3 points and you haven't won a game since now.
Yeah. Well, on a small serious note, I just don't think they'll get rid of him because they just can't now. But I do think when the moment in the season comes where United are mathematically impossible to get top 4, probably top 6, I think then they'll start looking for another manager and then get an interim, and maybe they'll get like Ruud van Nistelrooy will come in and manage.
That's what people have been saying, actually, like that by Christmas / just after Christmas, January time, that Ruud van Nistelrooy might be the step-in manager. I'm just waiting for the moment. Don't worry, it's coming, right? When Ten Hag's his prime successor, Sir Wayne Rooney, comes flying back. He's coming flying back in. He's coming in, right, and he's saving everyone. He's kicking the doors off because he's like, do you know what I mean? Rooney he's put on some timber, and fair play to him. He doesn't have to care anymore.
Why not, mate?
No, exactly. But he is literally just like a manager who loses. That's literally what he does. And oh my God, can you imagine? I'm getting too excited thinking about Wayne Rooney becoming because from a Liverpool perspective, I was terrified that Gerrard might get. I love Gerrard. He's my favourite Liverpool player. You know, he's my favourite of ever. You can't.
Gerrard?
Yeah, and smashed many a window.
Yeah.
So anyway, basically, keep Ten Hag. That's the message. Keep him.
Keep Ten Hag.
Sack him. You're right. They're like sort of stuck because who are they going to get now? Oh wait, Southgate. I forgot.
Nah, my prediction is that they'll keep with Ten Hag. It will get so bad, probably around Christmas or maybe just after. They'll bring Van Nistelrooy in as the interim manager. He'll somehow manage to get what European side of the league are they in? Are they in the Europa? He'll get them to the Europa League final. They'll lose, and the fans will sing Nistelrooy, Nistelrooy, Ruud van Nistelrooy. Oh yeah, something like that. Ruud's at the wheel. Ruud is at the wheel, and then he'll get a contract with them. But that's me hoping. Me hoping.
I hope too. I really hope something like that. I'll tell you one thing that would be incredible, and this is my prediction. It's never going to happen. This is my prediction. Christmas, sacked, Rooney in, end of the season, do terribly, want Southgate swerves it, end up with Brendan Rodgers. That's my prediction.
That is for any Man United fans listening, that is a dire prediction and something not to look forward to. But for us, it'd be quite funny. Mate,
it's always funny. There's two of the best things in life are a Liverpool win and laughing at Man United.
Yeah. Without a doubt, mate. Not for Liverpool win. For me, Arsenal win, obviously, and then laughing at Tottenham. But again, yeah, that's another thing. So Salah, mate, scores again.
Yep.
Third game in a row. Mm-hmm. Doing well. I think it sums up, goes in nicely to my next question for you, Lil, mate. Mm-hmm. Are you feeling a bit worried as a Liverpool fan that 2, if not 3 of your best players have their contracts coming up for renewal at the end of this season, and in January they can be talking to any club outside the Premier League?
Short answer, yeah, incredibly worried. Not because at the moment, there's 2 things that I think are sort of fact, but not 100% because they're sort of based on opinion. But Salah has basically cemented himself as the best right forward that the Premier League has ever seen, or at least.
Yeah, I think he's top of the conversation. And I
Yeah.
think for what he's produced, because it's very easy to say like, oh, is he actually the best right winger, like like ability? But
Maybe
the
not.
output, the production of his, you got to be saying that he's producing the same as what I would consider the best foreign player to ever play in the Premier League is Thierry Henry, if not the best player ever. He's producing the same as Thierry Henry, so you've got to say, look,
Yeah,
therefore he is.
definitely the
He's
best
probably the best.
ever played in the Premier League is Thierry Henry. It's 100%. There's no equivocation. You can only argue Shearer to a certain degree, and then ability of players, and then it's really difficult to like. In some ways, it's almost like stupid having Shearer as this like monolith because it's almost like for every answer it'd be like, oh well, Shearer then. Oh well, Shearer. Oh,
Yeah, but I always think with Shearer, I know he's amazing, but I always get I always use the fact that like people talk about like Ryan Giggs breaking records of stuff because he played for so freaking long, and
I
so
know.
was Shearer. He was just in the Premier League for so long, and only
Funny,
in the Premier
I thought this. I do feel the same. He was there for ages, right? But also, Shearer only played, I think, about 100, maybe 150, not even 150. I don't think more Premier League games than Henri, and scored in goal. Well, I mean, his total goal contribution and like assists and goals. I think Shearer was at like I think he's 320, 300, something like that. And Mo Salah and Thierry Henry are basically almost exactly the same. Henry's better over goals and 2 better assists in less games, though. So, like, it's about 10 contributions difference. Not
Yeah.
even
Oh,
that.
without a doubt, Shearer's there. But I mean, yeah. So like,
Yeah.
but are you worried that Salah is?
Sorry, yeah, to answer the question rather than who's the best Premier League player of all time,
We do love going on tangents, mate.
I,
That's what we do.
I am incredibly concerned because especially with his comments after the game, which were very cryptic. And I think he's telling the club, you need to get me, you need to sign me up, money now. Because he said, as you know, this might be the last time I play here. And
Yeah.
this is my last year at the club.
Yeah, I think for me, the writing's on the wall for Salah.
Maybe.
I don't think he'd be as. He's obviously going to be a big blow, but I think like he's getting to that age. Oh, he is ageless though. The guy he doesn't seem to age.
I know.
Like he did seem to have that carrying that form. But yeah, he's getting older. So are Liverpool going to go out and give him another? I don't know, if it's 300, 400 grand a week contract.
So my thoughts on it entirely have become this. We didn't spend our transfer money or overspend. So we were only going for Zubimendi, even with Chiesa, would be like 60, 70 maybe million spent. And we bought in more. It can only logically make sense in my head that they are saving that money to try and afford those contracts that they're going to have to give because Trent, scary, Real Madrid will just snap him up and then he'll be gone. Of course he will because like it's Real Madrid. Yeah. Then you've got like I'm not so worried about Virgil van Dijk. And that seems really disingenuous, like a bit of a slap in the face to him. But I don't mean it like that. So, Virg, if you're listening, I do care about you. But it's more that he doesn't have people around him. Like, when was the last time you heard someone's coming in for Van Dijk? Like, never.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Salah and Trent have already had conversations, like, and behind the scenes with multiple people, I'm sure. Loads of different people. And so am I concerned about it? Yes. What do I think will actually happen? Because we couldn't sign them last season because of Klopp leaving, because who would definitely sign? You wouldn't hunt if you're thinking about your career. Now we've got slot in and the first 3 games have gone well and we've got an international break. I think that what will happen is we will sign Verge and Mo up to maybe a 2-year deal with a potential 1-year extension and Trent to a 5-year deal And I'm hoping that more than anything, because we can't. If we lose one of them on a free transfer, it's a disaster. If we lose all three, I mean, we're like nearly United. Like, we're close then. Like, all of a sudden, we've got like people who are Martinez's quality at the back. All of a sudden, we haven't got any. Where's our striker gone? Although I know we probably made more precautions than them and probably signed better and got a better bald manager. However,
It's the power
you
of the
know,
board, mate. It's the power of the board. It's
it
hit and
is.
miss, though.
These are the things. Do you know what I mean? These are the things that really matter. Is it all depends on how much they want and all that sort of stuff. But I am concerned, yeah. To answer your question, really, I am really, really concerned. And it needs to be sorted, like, in the next month or two. And if it isn't, then I almost definitely don't think we'll win the league. Like, we won't even be in the
Yeah.
conversation.
And it also depends on kind of maybe a bit of ego as well, is that, say, Trent looks and sees Salah being shown love and they desperately want to sign him up, and they're like, and Trent's like, well, hang on a minute. How old is he? Like 26?
25.
In 25, 26, like he coming into his prime of his career, and he sees Salah getting given loads. He might then say, well, if Salah's worth that to the club, then I should be worth that, maybe minus a bit because I'm not a striker. But yeah, I mean, I went through it with the whole, like, Sanchez and Ozil's contract came up at the same time, and they spent so long getting Ozil done, and we lost Sanchez.
Yep.
I'm with you. I don't think Van Dijk. I think Van Dijk's. He was probably waiting, see who came in, see how they start. I wouldn't be surprised if during the international break you see Van Dijk signing. I'm less sure for the other two.
I'm more certain. So the most important contract is Trent's by far, and I think that they will do it in that order. They will do like Trent, Mo, Verge, like that, and I think that if the one I'm worried about is Salah, I can see him. I can see Salah leaving on a free.
Yeah, me too. Just from the outside, I'm not paying that much attention to it, but yeah, from the outside, I would see that Mo is kind of telling the fans, enjoy this season because this is the last one with me.
Potentially, I don't see it like that, but I just think he will go because of FSG being idiots more than anything, if I'm honest. Because I see his words and the demeanour he has as like, by the way, have you seen how well I'm doing in these games? Now it's 100,000 more a week. So think about that, FSG. And also, panic. I could go anywhere, sort of thing. And I don't think I actually don't think he wants to leave. I actually think he would want. I think he wants to become. He's not going to because he's like 100 and something goals behind Ian Rush. But like he wants to become like Leon's Liverpool's all-time goal scorer. Like
he already is Leon's all-time goal scorer.
He is, yeah, he probably has scored the most amount of goals for Liverpool in my lifetime. So I think that, and I've been through this before. Luckily, we've kept Mo till the end of his, like, at least in his 30s. Like, we lost Torres. I mean, rightly so, but we lost Torres. We lost, Suarez. We lost all these players in their prime. And again, Torres didn't work, but it could have been really bad. And so I hope that doesn't happen. If we've learnt nothing, and I mean, you can probably attest this, as you were saying, as an Arsenal fan, learn from those mistakes that Arsenal made with those players and understand that that is what's going to happen. Like, past shows you future behaviour, doesn't it? It's going to show you what's going to happen. So don't do that. And yeah, I am concerned for sure.
Yeah, and I suppose, even just like someone like, for me, like Aubameyang, we let him go down, we give him a massive contract, and he was too old to get that contract from us. So he then fell away. But I'm sure that won't happen with Salah. So yeah, great roundup though, Leon. Like I'm very pleased for you as a Liverpool fan. I think it's very good. You great start to the season. Got played one of your big games away from home, United, regardless of where they are in their cycle, it's still Man United. It's still the name. It's still the rivalry. So it's a great win for Liverpool.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say it's probably our hardest game of the season, even though there are harder fixtures, as in like playing Man City home and away is harder, playing you home and away is harder, playing West Ham is harder than them, playing Tottenham is harder than them, playing Brighton, etc., etc., etc. I could carry on and make Man United fans really angry, but because of like you said, their reputation and it's Old Trafford, I'd say that's our hardest game of the season.
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. Okay, well, I mean, before we wrap up, just really wanted to get your opinion, Leon, on like couple of minutes on the transfer window. Now it's closed. Only two signings. Has it been just two signings for Liverpool? One of those have gone back out on loan to his parent club.
technically speaking, yeah. Apparently, that is not actually the way that Mamadashvili deal was done. We've done a pre-arranged agreement to actually buy him next season, but basically that's the way it is. That he's not here and he's playing for Valencia for a season, so it doesn't really matter. And we bought in Chiesa. So, what do I think about our transfer window? I'd have liked a few more. Like, getting a little bit embarrassed by Zubamendi wasn't a good look, and they sort of recovered it, getting such a good deal for Chiesa, even though all the last contracts, etc. It's an incredible deal for him, especially for somebody who fits like our system to a T. He plays left, right, up front, and in the hole. So, like, it's a no-brainer. And even if we ended up taking a loss on him in, like, 3-4 years' time and we sold him for 5 million quid because he didn't work out, or even lost him for free, we'd lost about 20 million quid or something overall.
Yeah.
So
Great deal.
Yeah, so shrewd business. And lest we forget, technically speaking, Arne Slot is part of our purchasing, isn't he? Even though it was done before the transfer window and stuff, and we had to wait for. Technically speaking, I mean, he's someone we bought in, and
Yeah, it's a bit reaching though, boss. I think reaching. Otherwise, if you didn't bring in Arne Slot, you didn't have a manager. So that was.
Yeah, that's what I mean, though. In the same way that, like, if we didn't bring in Chiesa, we'd have no backup for Salah, and we'd just have to just keep flogging a dead horse. Like, it's like, Salah, come on, boys, get him out there again. He's like strapped up, and you're like, come on, mate. So I don't know. I'm just saying that technically speaking, for people who are against FSG, which I kind of think I'm one of them, I'm sort of in between. But the transfer window has not been a success in the way that I would want it to, but we're performing well enough. So we'll see what happens. That's my opinion.
What are you rating it out of 10, mate? So...
6. I would have said 4, but 2 points extra for Chiesa. Last minute turnaround, like 6 out of 10. It was all right. It was fine.
Yeah, cracking deal. Cracking deal. Yeah, there was obviously other areas that you could have improved, like having that extra player in midfield. Would have best definitely something you needed. I think loads of teams needed it, so it was going to be very difficult to go. But yeah, interesting start to the season, I think. And now the boring international breaks coming along, it does annoy me. Really does annoy me. Not only that, we'll have to think of something else to talk about on the pod next week. That's more most annoying thing about it. But yeah, so yeah, anything you want to add before we wrap up the session?
Not necessarily anything to add, but I suppose just to end on na 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 na. Ten Hag's at the wheel, at the wheel,
at the wheel. 10 Hag's at the wheel.
There we go.
Super. Well done, Liverpool fans, for recycling that tune and bringing it back into the thought patterns, because it's a classic football chant.
It was amazing. Yeah, so that's it. It's good. Life's
All right,
good.
perfect, guys. So we'll do an Arsenal pod as well. So that'll be separate. We'll upload that to YouTube as well. So if you want to check out the Arsenal pod, watch me cry and rant for half an hour, yeah, feel free to.
Lots
But
of stuff.
guys, thanks so much to everyone for listening.
Yeah, thank you. Goodbye.